First touch. He's got a great running back behind him.
Right people, right place, more production.
Omarion Hampton said he wanted to be more of a weapon out of the backfield. He breaks a tackle. Especially with Omarion Hampton in the backfield, you know that he can break tackles as he bowls his way across the 35.
Hurries to that line.
They will feed Hampton, and he goes down.
Been on, and I know he's hoping the third time's a charm.
Omarion Hampton on this run, and just a couple of yards he stacked up.
Make a little contact, but you can't hold on.
Hampton breaks off a gas and goes cartwheeling through.
And he'll adjust to the speed of this game.
After a long run from Omarion Hampton, here's another one. Breaking tackles. Second down. 7th carry for Omarion Hampton, and they
slide. That's QB drills 101.
And uses leverage. First down and goal. It's Hampton, a little hesitation. He runs right into Eastern. The pile's still moving. Nesbitt in motion. Short toss. Hampton goes high and gets a couple of yards. Omarion Hampton's been the bell cow. This is carry number 11 into Corey Heatherman's defense. And for more on him, here's Elliott. Johnson will scoop it for Hampton and let him run for a while. Lindenberg spikes him down.
Don't change offensively. We will.
We shall see. That's a high snap to start him off, and it is Hampton with two teams.
This is a big drive.
Omarion Hampton's second straight touch, and Minnesota comes.
That plays 11 years in the NFL like his does.
On a handoff, Hampton and a big.
That's a cobra ready to pounce.
Second down. That's a run for Hampton. And
you may see
a lot of conversation. Minnesota hopping into the defense. Hampton broke a tackle somehow. Omarion Hampton straight ahead. That is a gimme. Hampton short toss. And he goes horizontal twice. One has been great on third down. Perfect on the drive. Four-man rush. Quick hitter to the outside. One broken tackle by Hampton, and now
he's not going to put up those numbers. And not the personnel around him on the perimeter to do so either.
But he's been in huge environments. Here's Hampton. I mean, Hampton swing it out. Omarion Hampton is bucked on a bat. Hampton again. Found the crease. Got a first down. He's a phenomenal player, and he's the only returning starter for this team. Johnson bails out, hits Hampton, and he is hemmed in. 5 years ago, JT Daniels. Very similar thing happened that changed the trajectory of his career, and they're in pieces. From the south suburbs of Birmingham, Connor Harrell hands it off. Omarion Hampton rummaging. Go. With Nesbitt in motion, they'll give it. It's Hampton with a crease and a first down.
Punch of these two. He's going to have to adjust.
So how hard is it to, from the 22, wrapping on the door. Hampton picking his way for 1.5 yards.
With one start under his belt in Harrell.
Hampton, short side, spinning and losing a couple of 5 total yards tonight. Harrell addresses Hampton on the run. Man, is he fast on the game. Remember, there is a 2-minute stoppage. It's Hampton inviting contact. His team is down 1. Second down out of the 2-minute stoppage.
Chips. And they hand it off to Hampton, and Charlotte snuffs it out immediately.
A dangerous pass, throwing it back to the middle of the field like that.
13-yard completion for the first down. Hampton up the middle. The backfield, it's the freshman Devin Goss out there with Hampton. And they toss it out to Hampton. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another one. They hand it off. Drop play up the middle. Big gain there for Omarion Hampton.
On one play, you got to come back and dominate the other one.
Another handoff up the middle. This behind Harrell. Takes it right up the middle. Finds a hole on the right side and gets near the mark.
You're at home.
There's McCullum in motion. Handoff. Hampton with a big hole. And he's getting into the second level into the third level.
Back.
For a tailback who will be playing on Sundays. Hampton takes it with Nesbitt and Copenhagen. They hand it off again to Hampton, and he's pushing the pause. He lowers the...
North Carolina, that's why you put those guys out there. You're able to create mismatches.
Hampton wrapped up in the back.
He is now QB1 moving forward. And they keep it on the ground to the...
Up and now they're back up on the ball.
Moving quickly from the 22. Hampton, oh, a vicious stiff arm. Camp, it was a tight quarterback race. Johnson ultimately wins the starting job. Now Harrell is going to be the starter moving forward. Got the beat on everybody. So now here's North Carolina. Got it back on the ground to Hampton. And nowhere to go on the right side. So Criswell, coach, he's the former / current Tar Heel. Started here, transferred to Arkansas last year, and he returns. Has to get rid of it. Finds tailback. Hampton upended that. Yeah, the 12-play, 75-yard touchdown drive on the opening possession had the 30-yard line. Here is Jacoby Criswell, his first series of the day. Hampton squeezes through, and he punches into the end zone for the touchdown. Harrell, but Jacoby Criswell is in the shotgun here. 1st and 10 from the 33. Give it to the All-American. Hampton was able to cut back up field, and a dynamic all-conference tight end. More than 500 yards through the air a season ago. Hampton are on the move after a couple of punts their first 2 series. Hampton chased down from behind, and a whole slew of Eagles through the air. Hampton to his left. Hampton's got it. Can he force his way in? Hampton's got it. It's another touchdown. Almost looks easy here for the junior from Clayton, North Carolina. An All-American. His season a year ago. Boy, look at him keep churning the pocket here. Whoa! You're from Arkansas, transferred back to North Carolina ahead of this season. Hampton squeezes through. Hampton breaks one, and Omarion Hampton could go. Finally wrestled out at about the 20 of those after first contact.
Well, you look at every run that he makes, and it's like the run is a contact.
To Arkansas last season, he backed up KJ Jefferson, hits the portal again, returns back to Chapel Hill. And so in the 3rd game of the season, State with the come-from-behind win. And so North Carolina is now back in at quarterback. To Hampton once again.
Gonna move the ball down the field for you.
He's unstoppable today. Here comes the blitz from the corner. Hampton goes the other way. Hampton out of the backfield. Could not secure it.
They've been very effective.
He's 9 of 14 through the air. They've run the ball brilliantly today. There goes Hampton just pinballing off of defenders. Use to bounce off of tacklers. He's got a wide open hole here.
Last year he had over 1,100.
Now that is incredible. You know, that's some conversions they'll have to make. Got to get to the 32. Criswell under some heavy duress and go by. He suffers just a disheartening broken leg in the 3rd quarter of the opener against Minnesota. And so now Omarion Hampton, and he goes, it's been killing my soul to go 2 games without a turnover and an interception. Look at Hampton break free once again. From the 15, it's Hampton through the middle. Hampton, elusive. 206 on the ground on 24 carries. Is he going to get his 3rd touchdown of the night? Yes, he does. Omarion Hampton finds the end zone again. It's a 3-score day.
Omarion Hampton in the backfield. Gets the run up the middle. Gets met immediately. That's for sure.
And you got to test it out early, putting it up to bat that ball down.
Hampton makes a man miss for a second.
I think that's how you settle things down.
And there you see Hampton on the ground, taken down. 1st and 10. Hampton trying to spin out of trouble there. Only a 2-yard gain.
Side edge is fast.
Carolina moving fast here. They hand it off to Hampton. A lot of room to run there. Gets tripped up into JMU territory, but
explosive for this UNC offense.
They hand it off to Hampton on the right side. Hampton
Does a great job of going through his progression and putting the ball only where his guys could get it.
Hampton on the right side. He's got it early to the end zone, and he scores a touchdown. 28-yard scamper for.
And Bob Chesney does that for his football team.
2nd and 3. Hand off to Hampton. Hampton spinning out of trouble near the sticks. Hampton in the pistol set. Jones in motion. Hampton gets the play, and he is taken down, buried in the backfield. Eric O'Neill.
Step up. They have to lock in and make their plays as they present itself.
1st and 10 from the 34. Hampton wrapped up. Be the case here on 2nd and 10. They do hand it off, though, to Hampton. And Hampton met. And they hand it off again. Hampton picks up a couple.
As far as Bob Chesney, he said the most meaningless stat in all of college football is the halftime score. I want my team to continue playing hard and.
Hampton up the gut. There we go.
Where he didn't get touched until getting to the 2nd level.
Criswell with time. Dumps it down. It's Hampton again.
Down the field.
They hand it off to Hampton. Turns the corner, leaps a defender, and gets near the sticks. Freshman and J.J. Jones out there. JMU blitzing. Hampton gets through to the 2nd level and into the 3rd level, stays on his feet in the end zone for a touchdown. A 15-yard score. Mallory taken off on his own power. Blitz coming up the middle. They dump it off. Great job there to Omarion Hampton, who's making guys miss and gets past the. Criswell hands it off to Hampton. Hampton walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. JMU showing blitz. Here they come. Criswell takes the hit, dumps it down to Hampton.
Has been. He hasn't played a ton of snaps.
Hampton, big hole down the sideline, rumbling and stumbling and takes. Criswell, pump fakes, now rolling out, throws it to Hampton, met at the 25-yard line.
Carolina blue. Here's Omarion Hampton. You said they got to feed this guy. Haven't the last couple of weeks. 3rd down and 2, and Hampton works his way forward.
And nobody wants to tackle 6'1", 230 in the open field.
And now Hampton off the right side. Hampton. North Carolina about an hour away. Hampton again. And he bangs into bodies, and he seems to all. Criswell tries to check it down, but in Chapel Hill down the road. Omarion Hampton wrapped up by 3 on 3rd downs in this 1st quarter. Stick it in the belly of Hampton. Broke a tackle. Omarion Hampton. 25 yards through the air on this drive. In the belly of Hampton. Squirts through that right side, and Omarion Hampton with Hampton again couldn't slip away from the high-energy former Georgia Tech head coach. Hampton springs up the middle.
College football.
Hampton goes spinning again, and so many yards after contact the last couple years for Hampton. They give it to him here, and he escaped from SEC League action. Taking on Mississippi State in Austin. North Carolina starts out with Omarion Hampton.
Not bringing down Hampton.
It's 12 for 60 already for Hampton.
And when that ball is live, you pick it up and you run as far as you can. That's what happened on that last one.
Instead, it gives North Carolina a fresh set of downs, and they can feed Omarion Hampton like home. That campus, that program. He gets the check down here. He's improved in this regard. And Hampton will set.
You stay put.
Hampton stood up. By the way, good to see Alex Howard back out there for Duke at linebacker. A little flip. Hampton with a seam. Breaks a tackle. Omarion Hampton banged out of bounds. The ankle tackle from Howard. Hampton turns it upfield. And Omarion Hampton gets a push right near the goal line, and they will stop it. Week 2 on a revamped offensive line for the Tar Heels. Hampton up seasons. All right, big third down here with 31 seconds to go until halftime. A little flip for Hampton, gets wrapped up immediately.
On Sirius XM in about 3 weeks. So, and my 10 grandchildren live within 10 minutes of us. So we got more than enough to.
North Carolina able to come up with it and maintain possession.
Standing throw down the field.
On the ground to the left side, and Duke with Carolina up by 17. Hampton escapes, and Hampton back Omarion Hampton, who gets it up the middle, needing a yard, and their rival in Durham. Criswell pitches for Hampton, bobbled, made a man miss, and got the first. There's been a monster these last couple of seasons. They feed him again, right up the middle. He's one of 2 players in the country this year to have 30-plus carries on ESPN. Meantime, second down and 8, and it's Omarion Hampton. Big lane ahead, and Hampton tackled to us. Comes up with the chunk play. Hampton, another carry and nothing doing. Top targets to the sideline. And how about 1st and 35? Stick it in the belly of Omarion Hampton. Squirm. Hampton stayed patient, and he napped. Second down and 10. Anthony blows up Hampton in the backfield.
Time. Start number 3. It's been a carousel of sorts at quarterback spot for Carolina. Omarion Hampton's North Carolina offensive line. Criswell will set up the screen. Big part of the offense on 3rd and long. A conservative field man-to-man coverage for Pitt when they have the ball.
Oh, without a doubt.
Omarion Hampton to the edge. And Hampton, one of the top.
It could be a long day for Pitt.
650 yards on the ground so far. For the first down carry, 6-man front for the Panthers. Hampton up the gut.
Got 519 yards after contact. That's something he really hangs his hat on. As you see how tough of a runner.
The bigger the name, the easier the transition.
Correct. The more awards you have, the longer you play, makes it easier.
Maybe a Campbell Award winner. Hampton met with resistance in the backfield. Kyle Lewis.
Ball players do.
4th down and 2 for North Carolina. They'll roll Criswell out. Buys some time, heaves it. That's right at the line to gain. 15 minutes. Tar Heels facing 3rd and 6 to begin our second quarter. Inside give, racing outside is Hampton.
By Jacoby Criswell. He's so patient in the pocket, it seems as if he started for a really long time.
This question for Criswell throughout his career. Mostly as a backup at Arkansas and here in Chapel Hill. Hampton in the flats, a nifty move. Bumped out.
In game with adrenaline. He said that's an element he's getting used to in time.
I don't know that you can simulate that against the scout team. Utilizing tempo, the run to Hampton. Dragged down from behind inside the 35. And head coach Pat Narduzzi under duress. Criswell got rid of it quickly.
Didn't expect them to make noise, especially now playing with Jennings, a backup quarterback. So they've been an impressive team. Big win against Florida State last week, and now they've been a timeout.
Pressure right through the A-gap. Hampton.
So you don't want to leave too much time for Pitt, which is a fast-paced offense.
After a gain of 23, Hampton to the edge. Hampton still on his feet.
Omarion Hampton is elite.
How did he not break his back with that kind of move? After the timeout. Second down, delayed give, Hampton. Cuts it back inside in a strong finish. Jumbo set, multiple tight ends. Inside give, Hampton legs churning across the goal line for the touchdown.
You know, Morpheus and all of them, red pill, blue pill.
Hampton straight ahead.
Boy, the offensive line want to block harder for him.
North Carolina's had a running back go. Roots in the mix as Carolina figures to be the top of the ACC standings. Strength.
That's arm strength.
It's talent in that right arm for Criswell, who's endured his fair share of pain today.
Step up and make plays like McCollum did to say, hey, I'll be a part of that identity.
7 catches today. Hampton in the backfield. Nesbitt goes in motion. The give to Omarion Hampton. Boy, the Pitt defense was ready and waiting. It all comes down to the spot.
Great stuff, and thank all of you who have come to help in a time of need. They wouldn't promise him he'd be the #2 guy, and here he is, a starter. As you mentioned, after the original injury.
Get the ball out of your hands on time. It's accurate throw.
Be interesting to see how well North Carolina can run it this year.
It's happy. You got an NFL back in your backfield, use him.
Well, they're going to find him, but in a pass catching. Handed off to Hampton. Cuts it through the middle. Lunges for the... Hampton in the backfield. Hasn't gotten going yet. Good running room there. That's his best run of the day. Mac Brown spoke at length with us yesterday about the influence and the impact that young man has had on his life. He's 10-7. Georgia Tech leads. 7:27 to play. Best run of the day for Hampton, and look out. He's got a man to beat with a better angle down the sideline, and he's caught in the... All right, so plenty of time now for the Tar Heels. They're going to run it on first down, and look out. Hampton had one taken away the last drive. Nothing being taken away this time. It's Hampton, and 71 on that one, and looking for more. Into the end zone, close to it. Did he get there? No signal given.
Georgia Tech has the edge. Omarion Hampton just runs through that edge defender. No one blocks him. Then he gets stuck up at the goal line. Question here is, when did they blow the whistle? We're cut from the same cloth.
I mean, there's only a 285 win spread between the two of you as a coach.
It's able to stick in. It's a thin linebacking group for Georgia Tech. With him still be able to play, that's huge.
Mike, I mean, you're spot on, Mike. Yeah, Ron Pitts, thank you, fellas. You know, that scoring drive, I mean, they went right down the field on Alabama. That would... First little feel of autumn we have had so far, at least in our football season. Great stuff indeed. North Carolina trying to get more than that. A little shovel pass. It was caught by Hampton. And he gets...
This 8:28 left in this game. It's got to be a huge moment for this receiver group.
Well, they handed off on second down.
It was almost frowned upon years ago, and then now it's, hey, everyone's doing it. My buddy's doing it, so I might as well.
Yeah, Brian Kelly, who decided guys are hurt or not, but it's happening all the time. And like you said, Max, and we did.
That's tough.
Hampton gets the football, and he is stuffed right at the liable. And they're not going to get there on this carry, or are they? What? Did he have enough on a second effort to get into the end zone? No signal. Dropped off to Hampton. And he is to go. North Carolina trails by 3. They're going to run it. And that is a first down and then some for Hampton.
Go, and they'll switch off which receiver wears it every game.
This is Omarion Hampton. It's not the campus, the grounds of the University of Virginia. This is Hampton.
And your man. Good first down run, first play of the drive.
Give it to him again.
Well, it feels like with every game settling in more and more.
Third down and a yard. Going to be very close depending on the spot.
Place to call it.
And then right back to the ground and pound. You hand it off to Hampton. You know, we were talking about Hampton.
From the first drive and hand it off to him again.
You called it. They hand it off to him again. And he appears to be just short the center. And they pitch it to Hampton. Oh my gosh. The delay, they give it to Hampton. He's got some running room. Oh my gosh, he delivers another hit. 4 years later, 3 years later. That's right.
First pitch.
Here at Clemson and later became the team captain. Unbelievable story. Crossing pattern, that's Hampton out of the backfield. Look at this guy go.
You're seeing again that contact balance. It's the key. Change the course of North Carolina's year.
That was the first ever road win.
There's a lot of teams around the country. You get your third string quarterback, it's bad news. Hasn't been the case for North Carolina offensively.
That's a really nice catch right there. And there's Hampton
Bristol, who started at North Carolina, transferred away when Drake May cemented himself as a starter, and now he's back, and it's his team. In there on a sack, Bo Atkinson as well.
Hampton just breaking tackles. Right
contact with him at 3 yards, he's going to fall forward.
He ran into a hole to the line of scrimmage. And they pitch it to Hampton, and he will roll into the end zone, a touchdown. Can't even tackle him. All right, so now looking for more, perhaps, with 1:10 left. Why not? Criswell, great protection. Now it breaks down. He dumps it off to Hampton. He sidesteps a defender, breaks another tackle. His
shoulder's banged up. He did not wrap up on Hampton. Maybe as a result, he goes for a big gain.
Hampton still on his feet. Picks up a first.
Sideline in the edges.
They run it, and it's enough for a first down, which will stop the clock.
To the year, played banged up versus Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago. The bye week's been huge for him. You're looking for the guy on the sideline, which is where Criswell threw the ball.
Here's Hampton. All receptions, nearly 100 receiving yards. And Hampton breaks a tackle, looking for the corner. He dives into the end zone, his second touchdown of the game. Coming up next, only on the CW. Hampton on first down.
On it, and sometimes an interception can happen.
Second down carry is to Hampton. He's averaging 127 yards per game. Not much.
He was taken out, sent to the locker room. I believe that was Chris' first snap of the game, or he is the reserve tackle.
But Ohio State's defense has been great today. Apparently, offense laying an egg. There's a handoff inside the 30. That's a weak remove. They're going to go for it. Try to keep this clock rolling. And I think he took a big hit, did Hampton.
Make the play with their feet rather than Jacoby's arm.
Hampton on first down.
He caught one of those deep shots down the field, but he is not the speed guy that's just going to outrun the defense. Is he going to be put on his back? He's going to lower his shoulder at the end, drive his legs, and run through contact, and that gives him an extra yard or two each run. Wouldn't be surprised if they go back to him here. A little tight end hide play where he lined up on the right-hand side of the formation and just a little like sneak route down the line in the country. And his skill set is running through people. Let's hand him the ball. You also have a 6'1", 230 pound. Look at this bot. Like he just flicked that. Look where that ball, I could not believe the ball reached the receiver. I mean, that is some arm strength. I mean, people say built like a linebacker. I mean, I was a linebacker, and he had broader shoulders than I do.
Third down and long.
Play loose and play as one. That play right there shows a lot of improvement. Yeah, well, the strength of this defense are really the two D tackles. It's Darrell Jackson and Joshua Farmer, number 5 and number 6.
Thanks to Mike Roach on the call. So another try on third down, about 6 inches closer. It's to play here in this second quarter. It's the top 4 standings. Those teams all unbeaten in league plays. We start this North Carolina football player and receiver who lost his battle with cancer earlier this season.
It comes off the boot like, oh boy, there's someone right in my face. And then I throw it late behind my crossing tight end. Just a little story of he's at UNC and he decides, hey, I'm going to transfer to Arkansas. He's at Arkansas for a year, and then
Hampton bangs into a defender and picks up another 2 or 3. That was Zaire Thomas.
Break a tackle in the sack, you get out, you whip it out to your wide receiver, and what a great job by Kobe Payton.
Florida State 2. Now Jacoby Criswell.
So noted that on this first series for Florida State, he will go with Luke Kromenhoek, and beyond that, he'll see what happens.
Leaves have turned. It was 75 degrees for Halloween up in Boston.
Nephew of Mark Richt. Transferred in from Texas A&M during the offseason. Coaches love his potential. Just got to be a little bit more physical at the point of attack.
This is, he told Mack Brown, Coach, I need to be here. Defensive lineman Javari Ritzy told me, I'll always remember he was unstoppable.
They were tired of seeing their teammate and their friend struggle. And once he passed during the Georgia Tech game, you know, 2 weeks later against Virginia, they portal, and if you die by it, it's tough to make up for that.
Yeah, it's a quick death, and that's what they kind of felt. I mean, you know, the biggest issue that every team needs to have, you need to have a quarterback. Omarion Hampton goes for over 100.
This number, that.
And they come back and they just start, look, let's give it back to the hammer. Let's give it back to Hampton and picks up 6 yards. And yeah, that's the difference between Omarion Hampton and a lot of the backs that we see, is just that knowledge of where a defender's coming.
Issues, right guard.
Love Willie Lampkin. Having an undersized guard. He's 5'11", 290. By Florida State, and it's again, Josh Farmer, Daryl Jackson have been the 2 guys who have made
further evaluation. His teammates right now got to stand on their heads, facing another 4th and goal. They kept North Carolina out once early.
Yeah, and you see on the right-hand side, Desmond Evans gets that right hand, but Brock Glenn's
out. And right now, it's a lot of clothes on that clothesline too. Look at that jersey on 5, stretched to the hilt. Both these teams have a lot of single-digit defensive linemen. I think the jersey manufacturers are like, you know, what? Call was confirmed in the replay booth, so the North Carolina.
Florida State, 2 games on the road. You know, after that loss of Tylee Kraft, as you mentioned, which was during that Georgia Tech game, by this UNC defense, and if they can continue to play football like this, you know,
Tar Heels off their 25. Criswell to Hampton, a little swing pass. That's 5, and simply handing him the ball, Tom. But as you said earlier, he's developed this portion of his game as well. Boy, the team's coming off buys, Virginia Tech and Duke, right here on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. And there's a 2nd down. Hampton again, straight ahead, and oh my goodness.
About John Copenhaver either, the tight end. That's the guy.
Here's a quick toss. Hampton will try the right side this time, and he'll break the 40 before they
Puckett take a 1-yard loss.
2nd down, 11. Little delay, and here goes Hampton again. 1st down and more. Lowers his shoulder and
He's seeking people out to hit in the open field.
Hampton again on 1st down. Inside the 20. Tripped up. First on his 7th carry. Carolina quickly to the line on 1st and goal, and here's Hampton. Pistol set with Jacoby Criswell. And here goes Hampton to the left side. Look at the world chasing him, and oh boy. So out of the penalty, the ball's at the 30. And here is Hampton. Speaking of big backs, he'll roll. But tonight we're having a little bit of a throwback, at least in Q1. Here goes Hampton. Little cutback, Tom. That'll carry a yard to go for Carolina. Wake ahead on the Dennis field goal. And here's Hampton. 1st down and more into Willen Bryant. 3rd and 1. And Hampton right into the teeth of the Wake defense. 4th and 1, Carolina going for it. Here is Hampton, left side, muscling, and he keeps his feet. Got some help from his teammates. Criswell under center quite a bit here in the opening half. They're going to hand to Hampton. Sweep run here to the near side, 20. Change of pace, 15, inside the 10.
Just again, the ability we talked about, balance, contact balance, keeping your feet.
He's had 3 runs of 20 or more. Here is 2nd and goal. And the Deacons, Hampton's back in the game. And a little swing pass here from Criswell to get him a running start across midfield.
Going to be a good player, not a true jet down the field, but he's really good after the catch.
Wake going to rush 4. Criswell going to dump it across, and here goes Hampton. The receiving.
Fresh set of downs nonetheless.
Yep. Criswell loads, crossing route, Hampton, and pulled. 19 seconds to go. Hampton to the left side. And a flag gets thrown. High and tight? Huh? What are we doing? 1st down give is Omarion Hampton.
So the 2 of them on the field can play off of each other. May have had a bit of an impact on that as well.
Straight ahead, here goes Hampton. 45-50, Omarion to the near side. Made one guy miss. And finally to the 170 yards on 17 carries tonight.
Now tries to make a man miss in the backfield. Does. Hampton will gear down, step out of bounds. Out to lead Wake this year. And here is Hampton again on a first down. It takes over at its 15 after the Deacons ran 5 plays and punted. The give is to Hampton, and first down, and Hampton tried to make a man miss. Receivers here. This is 3rd and 11 for Carolina. They try to get it to Hampton, and the Deacons are right there. Nowhere, and the ball's out. I think Wake Allen's interception. That's his first of the year and the second of his career. And
Jacoby Criswell.
Yep. Now the pistol set for Criswell, and the give to Hampton. Boy, Wake is right there.
15 teams and a big one coming from behind today.
Carolina from its 4, and Omarion Hampton getting it cranked up. He had 210 against North Carolina Central earlier this year, by the way. And Hampton will step for the first down to the. And straight ahead, here goes Hampton. Just driving to the 20. Really have not seen any impact from him tonight. Here's the toss, and Hampton near side.
Surprised they tried to throw the football there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I love the shot, but I don't know if it's needed right there.
Here is Hampton banging away. That'll time and a half for the official too. And here is Omarion Hampton. So may have a few more left. Second down. Hampton banging away. Boy, 30 carries, 222 for Hampton. Toss, he'll hit the cutback here. Look at this drive. Just hammering away. It'll be 1st and goal. Criswell, toss to Hampton, right side. Trying to find a crease, and he'll get to the 6. Already trailing a touchdown. Carolina 2nd and goal. Here's Hampton, hurdle the man, driving and scores. Wow. And they're going to hand the ball to Omarion Hampton, and he will pick. Second down give. Here is Omarion Hampton. He'll get.
Great stuff, Mike. Trush will keep us posted on what's happening after contact.
He's a man on a mission.
A couple yards. First down at the 39. Hampton. Gaining some yards in the headset. You get angles from that perspective you don't get from anywhere else. And we thank Ace for providing that for us. With 11 sacks on the season. 1st and 25, a short shovel pass. And that went back with the Citadel Bulldogs of the FCS today. With a win, Clemson would clinch their 14th straight.
Lower body heavy, and just runs downhill all the time.
And yet BC ready. Double pass. Hampton makes the defender miss. Thanks for passing it along, Carla, and we'll see exactly what the Tar Heels have in store. Hampton picks up that, not even close.
I haven't even attempted to throw the ball down the field yet.
Swinging out to Hampton out of the backfield, and that's formation as Carolina starts from the 35. Omarion Hampton met immediately. Semi-finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is only a matter of time before Hampton comes and calling.
Make a play.
That's exactly what Jacoby Criswell does here. Start feeling it. Hadn't gone off to a great start here. They haven't been able to get him going. He's going to get another opportunity here. And he finds some room. Still on his feet. Still going out to the 33 before finally being dropped down. From Atlanta, Georgia. Hampton up the middle. Nowhere to go.
Turnover of the day for NC State. 2 or more, they lose every time.
Hampton.
From the left to the right, creating unbalanced formation.
Hampton. Flag down. Drag all Hokies. Winner of that game, bowl eligible. Hampton, can he get going here? Spins away from the tackle.
And then we're going to throw it out to our wide receivers.
First down of the day for North Carolina. Hampton picking and choosing his spots. Gets about coming into this game 5th on the all-time rushing list here at North Carolina. And they have had some great backs. Look at him here. Keep going. Still going inside the 35 against Howard Sampson. Hampton. You can see the talent. Inside the 40, down to the 38, another. Criswell to throw. Has time underneath. Hampton, you can see, makes the
pressure. Tony Gibson's bringing his guys.
On 3rd and 6. You give it to Hampton. He drags defenders for the heels. Hampton met in the backfield, driven backwards.
Someone went in motion and he moved. Interesting call. Devin Van decided, you know what, if you're going to call that on me, I'm going to destroy your entire
1-yard loss. Hampton again. Burst through.
Starting to feel like they got something going on this run game.
And just feeding him right now. Just get momentum here. A little bit of rhythm. Hampton just lowers his shoulder. This time it's Hampton up the middle. He stopped.
First half.
Criswell hands it off to Hampton. He gets met in the backfield by a slew of Wolfpack defenders. Here's Hampton. Straight up the middle. Look out! Now it's a foot race. And I don't think 28's going to lose that foot race.
Bring a 2-year-old to a 7 p.m. basketball game, that's what you expect.
What Carolina expects an eye on. Out to Hampton. Nowhere to go. And gang tackled for a 2-yard line.
That one was perfect.
Carolina wants to go quickly. Hampton. Direct snap to Hampton. Powers his way forward for
back to Omarion Hampton early in this drive.
Delayed handoff here to Hampton. That's why they do. Picked up 9 yards. And a 2-minute timeout. Again to Hampton. Stiff arms a defender. Down the sideline. Criswell to throw. Shovel pass to Hampton. Wide open. 30. 20. 10. Touchdown Tar Heels. They've got their 2 safeties 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Criswell underneath. Hampton's got to make something happen. Gets it out. Criswell to throw. NC State brings just 3. Dropped. Criswell to throw. Now the pitches. Back over here to Hampton. He's got some blockers in front of him, but he's got to get moving. This will be the final play of the game. And that's how it'll end.